Anansi says you. Jimmy say, Suswara. And Anansi in a time long, long ago, Anansi the spider lived in the heart of a forest. He was known for his wit and trickery, but he also longed for something more, a companion to share his schemes and adventures. He had sons of his own, but were not like him in cleverness. They often grumbled and refused to listen to his plans. Kwaku Ananse, what would ye? Nanswenya munsani be mani nyansa. The villagers would often say, one day, Kwaku Ananse decided to take matters into his own hands. If he couldn't have a child as clever as he was, perhaps he could adopt one. One early morning, Anansi set off into the forest, where he found a patch of rich red clay by the river bank. He spent hours molding and shaping the clay into the form of a boy. He gave the boy long, slender arms, sharp eyes, and a sly smile that mirrored his own. When he finished, he breathed life into the clay. I shall name you Kwaku Ananse. You shall be my son, my partner, and together we shall outsmart the world. The clay boy came to life, bowing to Anansi. Thank you, Father. I will follow you and learn from you. But remember, Niayadi Ahwadi Amponono, Beye Dadrin Dachi. Oh, forget that one. Anansi laughed, dismissing the warning. He had no doubt that Kwesi would become the perfect son. Anansi wasted no time teaching Kwesi the art of trickery. Their first target was Tano the wealthy antelope who had a field of ripe yams. Listen, Kwesi, Tano guards his yams jealously, but he is not as clever as we are. Now, here's the plan. I will distract him while you gather the yams. Kwesi nodded and followed Anansi's instructions. The plan worked perfectly, and they returned home with baskets full of yam. But as they ate their spoils, Kwesi tilted his head and said, Father, Tano may not be clever, but he worked for these yams. So you giant, Fabrice Yonkwana once said down. Is it right for us to take what isn't ours? Anansi frowned. He hadn't expected his son to question his ways. My son, Anansi said, in this world, cleverness is survival. You must not feel guilty for using your mind to take what others failed to protect. Kwesi said nothing, but deep down, he wondered if his father's wisdom was truly right. As the days passed, Kwesi grew more skilled in trickery but thoughtful. One day, he approached Anansi with a challenge. Father, you have taught me much, but I wonder, are you as wise as you claim? If you are, then surely you can outsmart me in a contest. Oh, you challenge me? Kwesi, I am Anansi, the master trickster. Very well. Let us see who is more clever. Kwesi proposed 3 challenges, each designed to test their wit. The first was to retrieve money from a beehive without being stung. Anansi, confident as always, approached the hive with a burning stick, thinking the smoke would drive the bees away. But the bees, angered by the flames, swarmed him, leaving him covered in painful stings. Kwesi, on the other hand, smeared himself with mud and approached the hive slowly. The bees, fooled by his disguise, allowed him to take the money without harm. Anansi grumbled, very clever, Kwesi, but I will win the next challenge. For the second challenge, Kwesi and Anansi had to steal water from the crocodile pond. Anansi, as cunning as ever, tried to distract the crocodile by tossing stones into the water, but the crocodile, sensing the trick, caught him by the leg. Anansi, you think you can fool me? The crocodile asked. It was Kwesi who saved his father, using a reed to draw water from the pond without alerting the crocodile. The final challenge was the hardest of all, to trap the wind. Anansi tried everything, nets, jars, even his finest webs, but the wind slipped through them all. Kwesi meanwhile climbed to the top of a tree and whispered to the wind, "Great wind, you are free and cannot be caught. But will you rest in my father's web? Just for a moment, to show him your strength." The wind, amused by Kwesi's humility, agreed. For a brief moment, the wind rested in Ananse's web before flying away. Kwesi approached his father Ananse. "Papa, sometimes wisdom lies in asking, not taking." Ananse, though proud of his son's cleverness, felt a pang of envy. He realized that Kwesi was not only his equal, but perhaps his better. And in that moment, he understood the warning Kwesi had given him when he was first created. Ananse then said to himself, "I have created a son who is more clever than I. Perhaps this is my greatest trick of all." And so Kwaku Ananse became known throughout the forest as a son who outsmarted even his father. Ananse, though humbled, was proud, for in Kwesi, he saw a reflection of his own wit and the hope that his legacy would endure. And to this day, the tale of Ananse and his adopted son are told to remind us that true wisdom is not just in tricks, but in knowing when to use them. Mananse semna ahana midibesi. Say do, enye do, ebinko, levimra. Medaswa mia meho.